Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Game Dev London podcast. My name is Adam. You can refer to me as he, him, and I am one of the hosts of the Game Dev London podcast. Although I may not been around for a little while, but I am back today because today is a little special episode recording because we've actually hit 150 episodes, if you can believe it. And on this special episode occasion, it only makes sense for me to have two additional hosts, which are my fellow co-founders of Game Dev London, Stu and Jade. How are we both doing?
Hello, it's really sunny here today. Had to close my curtains to stop the camera freaking out, but yeah, all good.
Yeah,
I've got the combo. I've got it is quite sunny, but it's also torrential outside. So.
Yeah, and I'm in just a completely different location to where I would be normally. So I've got a different setup. This is a spare house and stuff. But it wouldn't be a podcast recording in general without some technical hiccups, things like recording from phones. I'm on the same surface as my phone, so if its facility starts moving and I start moving, I'm gonna have to sit very still, which for people who know me that's not easy. So we're gonna see how we make this work. But yeah, today we wanted to really focus in on the fact that, number one, 150 episodes. Woo!
Whoop, whoop.
Well done, team. I'm glad. I was about to say I'm the only excited one. Everyone else was like, yeah, 150.
It's insane. It's actually insane.
This is how we do. We just roll on. I want to take a moment to stop and talk about it because 150 episodes is it's a lot of episodes. We are 6 episodes short of our 3rd year episode, which is also ridiculous to think about. But also, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in GDL in the last year. We've got some stuff coming up this week as you're watching this episode, listening, or however you're consuming this episode. We've got something going on which we want to have a little chat about as well. And yeah, it's a good opportunity to just sort of reflect on how the year's been, what we've been up to, and do stuff. But before we do that, people may know who these lovely people are, but I will let Jade and Stu introduce themselves very briefly before we roll on to things. So, Stu, do you want to introduce yourself?
Stuart DeVille. What do you need to know? Yeah, co-founder with my lovely two fellows here of Game Dev London. I also run my own indie dev studio, and I'm doing way too many things in the UK indie game scene. Same as you guys, really, just busy as hell being game dev.
And Jade.
Hello, my name's Jade, she, her. I'm one of the original OG founders of Game Dev London before it was Game Dev London. We were formerly known as Game Dev Lunch, and I've been around the scene for a decade or so. Must be over a decade. That this is just really, really bizarre for me. I pretty much joined Game Dev Lunch straight out of university, and I just sticked around, and it got to the point where I stepped up to be the organizer, and I just hosted a load of community networking events. There were just mostly lunches in my local library. Obviously that stopped due to COVID, and now we're coming back, and it's we've just grown so much that we are just more than a little lunch meetup group. So yeah, that's my background. Outside of Game Dev London, I am a composer. I'm currently working on a lot of exciting things. One of them is a music video. I'm going to be in a music video, guys. That's pretty
awesome.
Exciting. We have a rehearsal, the final rehearsal this Thursday. And I'm okay. And then it's filming, makeup, hair, everything is wow, this is really exciting. Within games, I've signed a big NDA. I guess that's all I can say, but that's still again, that's really exciting. I signed an NDA and woo, okay.
Yeah.
And the other project that I'm working on is Asian Pirate Musical. Again, we started working on that just before COVID and lockdown happened, and still working on it, still chipping away. It's a very big project, so if you like musical theater, yep, on the lookout. Sorry, that was a really long intro.
No, it's good. It's good.
I think I need to make a game just called NDA. Purely just because everyone goes, yeah. It's under NDA, and then I've just I've accidentally recruited the entire games industry. It'd be an amazing move. I'm going to call the game No Discussion Allowed as well. See, my head's gone. That's the end of the episode. I got to go make this. I'll back in a bit. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. But yeah, no, I mean, so very quick intro to me as well. I know I said I didn't really introduce myself. I just said co-founder, and then there you go. A bit like these two. I run my own indie studio called Beta Jester, which is a combination of work I working on indie games. I also run the community Playing Attention, which is focused on supporting ADHD and knowledge education support, accommodation, facilitation. We're all just ridiculously busy because that is how we do, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
But speaking of ridiculously busy, that's why we come on every 50 episodes, turn up here and have a chat about it, because it gives us a chance to sit and reflect on how things have been, what's been happening. It's been basically a year since the last time we had this chat, which is episode 100, which it feels like it might as well have been 4 years ago, even though it was this time last year. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick off by having a chat about, I know, we're going to chat about the things that have happened over the last year, some of the big key moments, events, things that we've passed, milestones, etc. We'll have a chat about our thoughts and feelings, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat about what's currently happening, what's going to be happening this week, and what we're excited about within that. And if we've got a little bit of time, we'll talk a little bit about a couple of future things coming up, bits and pieces and things, changes that might be happening. And we may save that for another episode. We'll have to see. But yeah, so to kick us off, so if we roll back the clock, Stu, have you got a clock rollback SFX to mind? That, it's exactly what I wanted you to do, and it's exactly what you did. So that's how in sync this team is, right? We're on the ball. We don't get more in sync in sync than that. This time last year, we were, I think, we're just ahead of WAC and the London Games Festival last year, which we ran our first sort of games industry event connected social, which was the Friday after party at WASD last year. Which rolling all the way back was a great success. Tell me about your memories just going back to that event.
What are my memories of that event?
I was about to say that as well. So much has happened.
Yeah.
So I'll say for me to start with, obviously, rolling back to so my indie studio started straight out of university, and since then I've been going to games events and bits and pieces, CGX and Res as it was before, and now WSD and stuff, and have been going to these socials, the big industry party normally run by some well-known company in the games industry, and it's the one that everyone turns up to, and people go, "Oh, have you got tickets to that?" And this is the thing. "Oh, did you miss the ticket?" "Oh, well, there you go." And to be on the other, it was amazing to be on the other side of that coin, to be the people running the event, to be the people who got to let people in, to be the people on the door, to know the majority of people who are coming in, and especially to not know some people, to be running an event where people had heard of it or us and went, "Oh, that sounds really cool, I should go to that." There was moments for me like I didn't I've told this story afterwards, so it's fine. I did not recognize the composer for my favorite game of all time coming in, and only realized after the fact that so my favorite game is Outer Wilds, and Andrew, who was the composer that came to our event last year, which was amazing. I recognized the name from our guest list as a person who had very kindly bought a suspended ticket to allow somebody to turn up to the event who wasn't able to buy their own ticket. And I remembered him from that and was like, "Oh, amazing, thank you so much." And then only afterwards, when I was playing the soundtrack, I think it was like the next week at work, and I looked at the name, I'm like, "That name's familiar." And I looked up and I was there like, yeah, okay. Which probably helped me out, because I'd have been sitting there going, "Ah!" So, it probably worked out in my favor. But it was it was a great way to just to meet people, to get people, beginning of 2022, we certainly weren't clear of the pandemic, and the rules were changing. I think they just introduced removed free tests and that kind of thing, and trying to balance safety and all these kind of things, and trying to be and understanding if possible. It was a difficult one.
Yeah, it was really chaotic,
but it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to be able to just put something on to allow people to come together and chat and catch up with each other, and just have a good evening, of being able to, nothing too like intense, nice and relaxed, but also allow people to spend some time together.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really to add though. Though my memory is so blur around that that time because I don't know, every year around the London Games Festival and WASD or WAS, I don't know. I'm gonna go
I
with
call it
WAS
WAS, yeah.
because it's funnier.
Yeah.
I'm always at like 3 different events on one day for like the whole week. And even like next week with GDLX coming up, and WASD again. I'm at like 3 different events each day or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So what were we doing last year? Where was our event? I actually can't remember.
So we were in the music hall, just about 5-10 minutes walk from
yes, yeah, that was
where
so good.
where Waz was last year at the Takadux. Obviously, that's moved.
Yeah.
Wonderful venue. Go check it out. And
Yes.
yeah, so it was great to just find this little secret location that we could basically 10 minutes walk and everyone got to have a good time. And I definitely I want to go back there at some point and host something else, but we'll have to see about that.
Shall
But yeah, no,
plan.
it was yeah, it was really cool to have something that could bring people together, which obviously also then connects up with the following day on the Saturday evening. We had another event which I wasn't at, so definitely I'm gonna have to get Stu to chat about people meeting up in the park.
Oh yeah, we did that too. We
Right?
do so many things. When you initially mentioned the first side event, I was like,
Right.
I have so many memories of so many things. Like it wasn't one of those. It was that.
It all
Okay,
blurs into one.
and then the second you mentioned the location, I was like, oh, that
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, and the park, the picnic park, that was great.
Oh yeah, that was at South Bank, wasn't it? I just like made a mass exodus there and say, yeah, if you just want to hang, just come. And that was amazing. There was like 25 of us, at least 20.
I think there was more
30.
than that. Yeah,
Probably.
It was getting closer to 50. Yeah.
No, wait, really? Oh, okay.
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. If you have
I remember that's the photo. Go look at the photo. Yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
good.
I don't know where that is, but yeah, the group photo is the thing that stuck in my mind because for some reason I was wearing one of the hats that I obtained at one of the stalls at WASD, WASD, and I was doing like a "Way!"
Yeah.
That does sound like you. Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, but yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, maybe I'll.
No, exactly.
Yeah, well, summer's coming up. I will host another picnic thing at another point. Like maybe we might need to move to somewhere bigger, like Hyde Park or something like that, instead of the little green spot in central London. But
especially with the numbers that we're starting to hit, like in terms of gatherings.
That is true.
Yeah, we now have a bigger gathering than ever before.
Terrifying.
We are steps away from the Game Dev London Festival at Hyde Park. We'll come back to that one. That's in a few years. It's in a few years. We'll come back to that. But I mean, exactly like you said, Jay, it's the fact that we can just go, hey, we kind of want to hang out to people around, and we can get 25, 30, 50 people go, oh yeah, I would like to chill out. That sounds good, and just turn up in a park and hang out, which has been it's a great marker for the inclusivity of Game Dev London, the fact that people could just be like, oh yeah, sounds like a good thing to go and do, and something worthwhile doing, and people will come out and go and hang out and just chill out and do that. When otherwise they might just, especially at that time, we were in a situation where people were still people are still nervous about large gatherings, that kind of thing. The fact that we can put out that message of safety, that message of inclusivity and acceptance, and like, hey, it's all right, you want to come and hang out, we're a chill group, we're relaxed, we're a safe space, we promote everyone feeling safe within our spaces, that come chill out with us, and that worked, and people believe in that message. So no, it was a really great event. It was a shame that I couldn't turn up to that one, but I definitely
next time.
I think I got home. I was on the way home, and I was looking at the big picture, and I was like, oh, it seems like such a good event. But you see, if I get FOMO for these events, then hopefully everybody else does as well.
Yeah. We're gonna keep throwing banger events. So like don't have the FOMO, people. Just come along.
Just rock up, yeah.
Yeah.
Tickets are available. The I'm trying to think of the other things that happened during last year, because we did have the summer game jam, if I remember correctly. Yeah, which was where we. Oh yeah, of course we did. Which one of the cool things about that was we continue to kind of promote this sort of more relaxed approach to game jams, and sort of the spread out over sort of a week period, which, you know, it means that our game jams aren't as big as the GDL internal game jams. I'll talk about other game jams which definitely are as big as they've always been. Summer game jams aren't as big as they had been, sort of go back 2 years, but it allows more people who wouldn't be able to take part in game jams into giving them a bit of a chance. So we start on a Friday, and then it's still 48 hours, but you can spend that 48 hours over the week. So weekends or away for one of the 2 weekends to spread out their time over the period. And we've had people feedback to us and say, thank you so much for doing this, because, you know, I'm a busy person, or I'm a parent, or I had this event on and I really wanted to take part, but normally, you know, 24, 48 hours and I can't just dedicate that time. So yeah, no, it's always great to be able to run those kind of events and just give more people the opportunity to do things that they enjoy doing, even if, you know, times change and circumstances change and things come up. Sometimes it can stop people from being in a position where they feel like they can do these things. So no, really happy that we've been able to provide that kind of opportunity to people.
Hell yeah.
We'll come back to game jams in a minute specifically as well. But certainly, I think summer we chilled, we relaxed. There was Develop. Didn't specifically have a Game Dev London event there, but we did get to go. There were lots of Game Dev London people repping repping the community, as it were.
Heck yes.
But the next big thing would have been EGX in September, October of last year, where we hosted, I think it was four different panels, I think, in the end, talking about all different topics and different things, and really bringing just a whole bunch of voices and disciplines and thoughts and ideas and people to the EGX stage to be able to chat to people about. Again, I had it was an event that it was panels that I had organized, but then I could not attend. I was very much away. So Jade, do you want to tell us just a little bit more about how EGX was and the panels and the feedback we got?
Yeah, no, it was just a really nice one to actually attend another event. We weren't like directly involved in organizing it, but we were involved in organizing a part of it. So that was, you were missed, Adam, like, even though you pretty much organized the whole thing. But yeah, no, it was nice. And I think Stu, you were working with Gianni just to like going around interviewing people. I was just wandering around chilling. I did have a very like awkward incident with one developer, but other than that was fine. Shall I retell it?
I mean, that's up to you on that one. All I think on that, Stu, how was it for you? You know, obviously we've been doing panels at events for basically the whole time that we've been going as Game Dev London. That probably was our biggest sort of, like, in terms of we were on. I think it was either the biggest stage at EGX or the second biggest stage at EGX. You know, speaking to those audiences.
I think as well, because obviously when we started Game Dev London, pandemic was like, lockdown was rife, and so everything that we did, the GDC talks, the EGX talks, they were all remote, and so it was our first on-site situation, which was both amazing and stressful. But also being able to, me and Gianluca went around and interviewed indies, captured them for the podcast, and it was just like a really nice way to be involved in the event, as opposed to just attending and walking around and playing games. Although I did do that too.
Well, you're meant to do that. You know, everyone works really hard in the demos or showcase things, and then to not get people to play it, I know it is difficult. It is hard to get, you know, I'm just going to sit down and play your game in a very public space. That's quite stressful in itself. But yeah, no, you did the right thing. Just like you were chatting to people and then you played some games.
Yeah.
as it should be.
Yeah, and then hosting the talks on the stage and managing the teams for the talks on the stage. Again, was slightly stressful, but actually it was just amazing to have our everything that we represent presented at the event.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's what, as last year was kind of the first, well, sort of the first full year of the kind of the event schedule. There were still some issues and things, events being cancelled, especially in the early part of the year. I know that what would have been used to be Resden would have been EGX Birmingham was cancelled last year, and then it didn't really happen again this year. But there was still a bit of a chaos. But I think that from what I've heard, EGX last year was the first event that felt like a full scale event again. Big venue, huge numbers of games, people just being able to play a bit of everything and see games from people and studios from all over the world, let alone the UK, and just check out what cool things are happening. So yeah, it sounds like it was a really, and to be there in the thick of it, as a community, talking about all the great stuff that we were doing and interviewing people about their spaces. Hopefully people have heard those episodes. If you've not, all the panels that we did are available as podcast episodes to go back and check out. And I remember working my way through them and checking them out, and it's just some fascinating stories from people, insights into different areas of games, and what they've been doing. So yeah, no, another really cool event, another thing that we were really happy to have done, and yeah, it was another good one on the books. And then we hit the quiet period. We hit and that sort of October, November, December. Things go a little bit quiet on the event front, but not on the organization front, because November through to the end of January, we were coordinating Global Game Jam. So our Global Game Jam site, which we've done now for this year was year number 3. We've done it twice in the past. Back in 2021, we were the 11th biggest site, I think, in the world. And then last year we were the 8th biggest site. And we were looking to improve that this year, see what we could do, maybe maybe if we could get into the top number 5 position, that'd be pretty cool. And where do we end up, Stu?
Third
biggest game jam site in the world.
Oh, seriously, well done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had over, I think it's over 360 people, I think, registered, something around that.
Hey.
Like just a huge number of people taking part. A lot of people from the UK, but also we have people from Europe, we have people from South America, we have people from we have someone taking part from Korea, if I remember correctly, as well, from South Korea. There were people from all walks of life, developers, seniors, experienced people, some people it was their first ever game jam. And we were really lucky to be sponsored by NEC World as well, so huge thanks to them for helping us make it possible. And we had so many people and teams taking part. We ran a number of events sort of building up to it. We had our classic game dev lunch. We got people to sort of jump in and chat and meet up.
Yeah.
And
Discord went a bit nuts then.
We'll come back to that. That was a busy month for Discord.
Yeah.
We had so many people sort of jumping in and chatting and forming teams and forming ideas for games and stuff. Stu, tell us, you were sort of there in the front lines, if you will, in terms of being taking part. Tell us about your experience sort of with Global Game Jam this year.
I remember watching the live stats and just being like, refresh. It became a bit of a problem. But
oh dear.
But at the same time, well, not really, not like a drug addiction problem, not quite that serious. But I was like every now and again being like, are we in the top 10? Are we in the top 10? And then we were in the top 10, and I was like, okay, cool, wow, that's great. And then I just kind of casually checked it again, and we'd gone from 10th, I think it was, to 8th, and I was like, well, we've been here before, so this is great. But that was the point in my mind where I was like, I wonder how high this is going to get. And I kind of just casually kind of checked in on it, and yeah, we went to 7th, and I was like, oh, we're only, I think when we were at 7th, we were something like only 10 people away from going like to 6th, and I was like, oh, I'll just keep an eye on that for a bit and see if that happens. And then we went up, and I was like, I thought we're going to hit maybe 5th. This is going to be great. We're 5th globally. It's like quite a leap. And I think we actually very quickly went from 5th to 4th. And I dived into the Discord and was like, Adam, we're 4th globally.
We're 4th globally. There was a lot of, I remember it being a lot of back and forth over the weekend, and we were jumping places with, it was Malaga, I think, somewhere who came 4th in the end.
Had a high side.
No, it was amazing just to be able to provide that opportunity for so many people. And we're really proud of being able to create a space that people want to join, that people get value from. But in terms of developing Stu, because you did make a game over the weekend as well. How was your sort of experience doing that? Did you?
I actually mentored a team because
there you go.
I was just too busy doing other stuff. But yeah, so I decided to mentor a team, and they made a pretty cool game actually. They were one of the top rated games in our collection of games from the event, and we gave them a golden ticket to showcase at our expo, which we'll probably end up talking about at some point. But
yeah, little spoilers there. Little spoilers there.
little teaser. But yeah, so and it was really cool actually, because the team, they were like a really cool little team, and as with most things, like they've never worked together before, so there's all of the usual kind of like teething problems that you have. And so I was just able to like dip in and out and be like, don't forget to have fun, guys. Like it can be quite stressful, like trying to make a game together, trying to make sure the ideas form, and trying to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, and all of the stresses of like what you would actually have if you were running a studio, but in like a microcosm. So yeah, it was really nice to just be able to help them ease through that and get to a point where they made something that they're happy with.
Yeah. No, cool. No, and that's a huge part of it is you know, we provide these opportunities. We provide opportunities for mentoring as well. We have I know that I went into the jam intending to take it very, very casually, and then I ended up working with a composer and took it much more seriously than I'd intended to, and I learned a lot even from just doing that. And I messed around with a multiplayer system, which was an interesting experience to learn in the short form. There was just a lot of stuff, and this is the thing with every global game, every game jam that I do. You just learn something a little bit different. Like had you been a mentor in a game jam before?
I've done mentorship before, but not live in the throes of things. Like I've mentored people one-to-one, and that's normally more like career development stuff. But I have like consulted for game teams, but normally that's the case of like, here's the long-term plan, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. That you might want to think about this, you might want to think about that, as opposed to like, this is what's happening right now. This is broken, and this is stressful, and so it was new, but it was still very cool. I quite like being able to help people temper those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jade, don't think you had the chance to sort of take part in it, but obviously in the Discord you were seeing just a huge hustle and bustle of people coming in and chat. From a community perspective. From a community perspective, what is the impact that events like this, like Global Gaming Stuff, have from where you're standing, and what's the value of them in terms of bringing in people to chat about making games?
Oh no, it's all brilliant and fantastic, and I think this was something that I was really wanting to almost find, because I find that once you've done your degree in university and you're like throwing yourself into the real world, and you're like, oh, this is really terrifying, like where do we even begin? Hence why I just went into this random thing called Game Dev Lunch. I got an invite from the previous organizer. It was a lovely Muslim lady called Huda, and she was just like, yeah, this is the thing. It'll be nice to like meet other different types of people within this industry. And so it's really warming to like see the community grow, and like people are just like taking the chance to work with a lot of random people. That's again, it's a really, really scary thing. From a organizer perspective, it's almost it's amazing and terrifying at the same time. We're like, oh my goodness, we are getting so big. How are we gonna like figure this all out? Because in my mind, Game Dev London is always like it's like a 30-person thing, but now it's just like what, third, fourth global game jam rankings of like, that's a lot of people in our Discord. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on a lot of people in Discord, and I think in terms of events and things that have happened over the last year, that kind of rounds up all the major events and things, except because the next big one is the event coming up next week, which I'll touch on in a minute. But before that, I wanted to just go back again and talk about, there's a couple of things that have happened over the last year in terms of numbers and stats and other bits and ongoing things that aren't just like, here's the one pinpoint event that we can call out, but stuff that I think it's worth taking a moment just to sort of reflect on, because over the last year we've had a continuation. It's paused at the minute, but we had in our own community, we've had the sound design workshop, which has been an amazing initiative from one of our community members to kind of encourage people to experiment with sound design. That's gone slow at the minute, just because I think he's quite busy with the work he's doing. But that was, I think it run sort of 60 consecutive weeks or something like that, like a really wild number of challenges.
Well, now
which
there's
has been a wonderful
music one now.
yeah,
there's a music
absolutely.
one now. So I'm just like, okay, someone has decided to carry on that mantle. So there's still stuff happening, and that's like the power of community. It's like people feel so comfortable to be like, oh, that so and so running that little internal workshop was really fun. I want to give that a go as well. So people listening out there who's in our Discord wanting to try something, like, oh, like every Friday is a Fan Art Friday or something, just do something fun, do just post in our Discord, and if you want to host it, let us know. We're more than happy to help you. Just do a little signpost in the announcement channel and all that, and just practice doing your art stuff and draw something fun with other people. What's more to do there? Sorry, I jumped in there.
No, exactly. No, that was absolutely perfect, because we've had it's a great segue into the fact, if you are a community member or thinking about, you've got something that you want to try, and you need to looking for communities that are open to trying the stuff out and seeing if it works or if it flies and stuff, then that's what we have in our community, is people, we're trying stuff out with events and opportunities. We've had the sound design challenge, we've had the music challenge as it's going now, we've had art challenges in the past, and 3D modeling challenges, and we'll have more challenges as well. So if you're doing that as an individual and you want to try it out, then you absolutely can. And going even further than that, obviously in the last year we've had the first iteration of the GDL Edu, the GDL education program as well. Trying to help and support people sort of learning about games and getting involved. Run obviously by the Fantastic Muse, as well as with the teachers and sorted volunteers and things who've been helping to run that. We had a great that first run was a fantastic way of sort of bringing education to people and teach people even more directly about the fundamental of games.
Absolutely. So another shout out to Muse for just helping us get something started, because it is a daunting task, to set up a community education program. We did a trial run over a number of weeks, just to see how, what are the nooks and crannies that we need to actually have a look at, and everything that we thought of that we could deal with. It turns out there was a lot more, and we're like, oh, okay. Stuff like the back end of Eventbrite was really janky in some places, so we're like, oh, okay, well, the thing has started now. We just had to duct tape everything together and hope for the best until the next round. But we learned a lot. We've had a lot of feedback sessions and a lot of internal meetings to try and figure out, okay, how can we make game dev education more accessible? And we actually found out there's a lot of resources for technical stuff, like how do I program a thing and blah. But there's a lot of soft skills that we actually found out through doing this initial run of this initiative, that soft skills are actually a thing that actually people are struggling with. So Muse and I have been talking. We're taking a slightly different approach, and Stu, you've also entered the picture as a more prominent role. I
Mhm.
think from what I've seen in the chats,
Yep.
we still chat in the chats.
In the chat.
In the chat.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. We will be relaunching stuff very, very soon. We just need to figure a few more things out, and yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the point, is that we've had, we do these, we're trying different initiatives. Sometimes things are go right first time. Sometimes we make them work. You never know how much is going on behind the scenes. And with different events, I know that from EGX last year, we were making sure that I know that there was a lot of organization going on in terms of on the day and on the fly things for making sure that people were going to the right place. GDLG, like you said,
They
trying to
changed the timings at EGX at one point,
Yeah.
right? We're like, oh
yeah,
no.
you have all those memories coming back to you. With the GDL Edu program, we were having to make sure that we were running things in the background, trying to keep it smooth, people taking part. Going back to the social that was last year, having people who were not for the party trying to just walk in and just be like, this is the free open area. Yeah? It's like, yes, with the big closed door, obviously just an open space. We had a lot of making sure that people knew. There's a lot of running around and stuff, and it's busy work for the team, the Game Dev London team. Which exactly what the other thing I want to bring up is that, as with every year, we have had a number of hosts. So for those who don't know, the Game Dev London typically is made up of 10 active hosts at any one time, to sort of be able to present lots of different views and opinions from different people in different areas and disciplines. And we've had a number of hosts leave us in the last year, because whether they've gone on to they're too busy, or their work has changed, or they've got new opportunities. Some who had only been with us for a short time. Some, particularly want to call out Ed, obviously had been with us since the very beginning of kind of Game Dev London, and unfortunately left us because he had some fantastic work opportunities that we're going to take away. Just wanted to call him out in particular. And people who have had to step back, who are still part of Game Dev London, but they've moved into sort of different areas within the team. Obviously, people like Krang and stuff, who are still running was part of the panels and that kind of thing, even though he stepped back from kind of hosting. But we've
Chris
also
has been
had
with us from the beginning, I think, pretty much.
Chris is still here, so that's I'll call out the people who left. You're like, Chris is still here. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
But my thing is, like, we have so many people come and go.
I've been here since the beginning as well. I'm still here.
Yeah, but we expect you to be here.
So you, so Jake.
Still here. I'm the longest person here.
But yeah,
longest
we've also had a number of hosts join us in the last year who have done some fantastic episodes and interviews and chats. People who've become real linchpins of the community and the hosting team. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to all the current hosts and past hosts for your continuous hard work, coming up with amazing episodes and bringing interesting content and ideas and things to the Game Dev London community. So thank you very much.
And the admin type.
And yeah, so and then the last thing I want to talk about before we move on to the current thing is the Discord. It's the Discord, the community itself. We just in the last week, I think, possibly 2 weeks, we've just passed 3,000 people inside our Discord community. We're a very busy and bustling community. There you go. 3,050 now. We're a busy and bustling community full of people who are excited to chat about games and development and design, and from every discipline, from whether they are a programmer, whether they are an artist, marketing, research, speakers, law, from every single walk of that involved. As we always say, everybody who's involved in games is a game dev. You do develop games one way or another. You are an integral part of that. Which is why everyone who joins our server is immediately tagged as game dev. There you go. Don't even worry about it. And occasionally some people get up to like gigadev, but that's a whole other thing. Go to our Discord, find out what these weird words I'm saying mean. But yeah, a community of 3,000 people. When we started, Stu, going back 3 years now, is that something that you imagine we would get to, or is it something that that sort of was beyond the kind of the goals that we had initially?
It's kind of crazy because when I initially joined Game Dev Lunch, and Jade asked me to be an organizer after I was just religiously turning up every time.
Yep.
And I did kind of have a bit of a vision, and I that's when I said to Jade, I think we should rebrand and we should be Game Dev London, and I think we can do more under that umbrella than just. Well, although we were doing lunch meetups and we were doing dinner devs as well at that point.
Yeah, we were trialing doing more evening events because people are like, I want to meet up over the weekend or in the evening, and I'm like, that's great. I'm not free.
That's a fantastic impression of someone. I don't know who it is, but wow.
No, well,
It was Stu, wasn't it? It was Stu. You can say it. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's just like I have rehearsals in the evenings, and I'm probably performing over the weekends, so hence why I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were at that time we were experimenting with doing more different types of events. So yeah, dinner devs was becoming a thing, and yeah, we were very much outgrowing the library. I remember when a bunch of us, were all really excited. We're talking about games and game dev, and then like the security guard would just be like looking over the balcony, just like, and I'll be like
noisy, and we're like, sorry.
Yeah, so I had to like just go around every like little group. I'm like, I'm really sorry, but we had to be a bit more quieter because the security guard is giving me some evil eyes. And well, and the thing is, like, we were in like the cafe area of the library, so it's not like we are in the quiet study rooms, but but because of the architecture, it's quite a large open space, and yeah, just sound just travels. But
libraries are going to library.
Yeah,
libraries
in the library.
But yeah, so
architecture's going to architecture.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so when I said to Jade, I think that we could do more. I also had secretly been pining after creating a podcast for like 3 years at that point anyway. So that's when I jumped in and grabbed you, Adam, along with a whole bunch of miscreants, and we started doing that. But yeah, the kind of general vision was that we would be able to do more things, and now we do all of those things and a few more. So it's been
all the things.
It's been crazy to watch it kind of spiral beyond what I had originally envisaged.
Yeah, I think COVID was almost like a perfect storm for us in a way that, like, we can't do events, and then that was like everyone was doing podcasts during lockdown, so it was just the perfect storm in that sense. So
yeah, we managed to turn. I think the good thing is we had started doing stuff like digitally with the Discord at that point, and everyone else was like, oh no, we need to be digital, and we were like, well, we kind of already are, so let's just lean into that and do more of that. And it put us in a really good place when we came out of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, and it's a wonderful community of people who are open and helpful, and like I said, we pull in people a lot for like Global Game Jam, that kind of thing, but a lot of people then stick around to find out what we're doing and chat to people and be a part of our community. And I can't knock it. It's a wonderful thing to have these so many people that the community stays up, but the community stays active. We don't get people. It's not so wild that people are not sure what's happening. People are supportive and open, and it's got its own idiosyncrasies. Spinning Steve, which are always massively appreciated, and they make me hungry. And people talking about events and sharing what they're doing. It is wonderful. And speaking of sharing wonderful, we've got a couple minutes left before we're going to have to run. But I think now is a good moment to just chat a little bit about the next sort of step in what we're doing, which is the Game Dev London Expo in partnership. In partnership with our wonderful friends at MLC. Let's have a little chat about what's happening next, which is thank you, MLC. This week coming up, if you're listening to this live, it's London Games Festival, and kicking off on one of the very, very first events, a side event, is the Game Dev London Expo. Stu, do you want to tell us a little Game Dev London Expo?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. So I mean, essentially, some people will know that this is our second Game Dev London Expo, and the first one was a sellout success, and had a really amazing industry after party that people are still raving about now.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness!
yeah.
Yay!
And so we wanted to do it again, but we wanted to do it bigger. More specifically, I wanted to do it bigger.
Yeah, no, you
And
wanted to do it, definitely. You're like, I want to double everything, and I'm like, sure. How? like, it wasn't cheap, so you wanted
yeah,
double the everything, but that also
double everything.
doubles the price tag in a way. So
And
we
to
had
be
to be
fair,
careful, yeah.
we have doubled everything. So
That is true.
Oh,
yeah.
it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day.
So originally we had 8 games showcased. We had 250 capacity. We had a whole bunch of talks and panels throughout the day, and this time we have all of that times 2, basically. There's a whole bunch of extra games. You'd have to check the website for the exact full listing because there's quite a lot of them. We also have, this year I created a gold ticket system for university students and for people who have made games with us through things like Global Game Jam. Just mostly because there's like I find there's not a lot of opportunities for people who are just literally at that like fledgling stage to have these experiences and know what it is before they get to those real life experiences. So like the indies that are showcasing now, some of them are newer, some of them are, have been showcasing before, but they never really had a proving ground. So this is their proving ground, which is kind of a bit scary. And I think if there'd have been a situation whereby there was like a taster, a way to do a taster, so that was the idea behind the golden ticket. That and also the golden ticket also focuses on supporting those within our community, which I think is kind of cool. So we have that. MLC, obviously our partner for the event, are hosting their own MLC zone, where they are showcasing the games that they have been involved in. They're also doing a whole bunch of stuff on supporting indies and how you can like build your. They've got a budget builder. There's just so much going on. And we've got the usual big talks and stuff. And we're at a new venue. So last time we were at Samsung King's Cross venue. This time we are at the famous graffiti tunnels under Waterloo Station. The venue is called 26 Leek Street. I believe they hosted an IRL event.
Yes, they did.
And it's just as stressful as it has all been, it is also super exciting. And there are still some tickets available, but you want to hurry up and get them.
Yeah, I get emails from Eventbrite saying like, "Oh, a ticket's been sold," and then I check like how many tickets do we have left, and it's not that much, right?
It's less than you think.
Yeah. So get your tickets now if you haven't done so.
And
absolutely.
If you want a discount, you can search my Twitter profile. I've hidden a discount code in my Twitter profile.
You see, that's how we work here. Easter eggs you didn't even expect.
Game dev's gonna game dev.
Game dev's gonna game dev. No, it's wonderful, and it's going to be a really great day. And even if you can't come today, we're also going to have the evening networking. You can just buy a separate ticket if you're busy in the day and you want to come along to check out the indie games that's still there and chat to all your favorite game developers. You can just grab that as well. But just take a day off. Come down.
That actually is kind of a special part of the industry after party, because the last time we had the industry after party, we had this really fortunate situation where someone had brought a whole load of games in their bag and put them out on the table, and we're like, hey, we can play games while we network and have fun.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to keep that vibe. So this year, all of the games, or at least all of our showcase games in the indie space, will also be available at the industry after party, because it's the same venue, so it's quite easy for me to do. So you can play those games during the day, and if you're not there during the day and you want to come to the industry after party, you can still get to play the games.
Can't argue with that, really, can you?
Mhm.
But also coming along today, we've got some amazing talks coming up from some fantastic speakers. Full schedule details available on our GDLX. Is it 23 on the end of that as well on the website? I think so. GDLX.
I think
Go to GameDev.London and you can. It's big and in your face,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Yeah, there's big buttons.
GameDev.London. Go from there. But also, it's also worth saying as well, you know, it's been wonderful that we've had a number of sponsors who believe in kind of the idea that our idea of what we want to do here. We've obviously MSC partnering with us, and we cannot thank them enough for the hard work they've been putting in, as well as the GDL team. But the sponsors that we've had support us as well. It's been great to have them believe in what we're delivering and help us to deliver on it.
Yeah, big shout out to Fraggers and Medway Festival and Level Up Ads. Big shout out. Super supportive.
Yeah. Amazing work. And yes, so that's this Wednesday the 29th of April, 29th of March. Oh, I was trying to remember. There you go. See, Wednesday the
Wow.
29th. I'm gone.
Wow.
I'm gone. Wednesday the 29th of March, 2023. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. Main session finishes at 5:30, and then the evening networking from 7 till 8. We've got games, we've got people, networking, talks. It's going to be one of the first London Games Festival events altogether, as well as being a side event.
Nice.
Especially if you're coming down for WAS, it's something to just come down to the day before, and just hang out with some of your favorite people, like us. Look how great we are. You see, you can chill out with us.
It's the after party
Maybe
at
us.
the same event, by the way.
Same venue.
Same event
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Same
so
venue, same place.
Venue
we don't
closes
need to
at
be
6.
kicked out, really.
No.
You can just stay.
We're gonna go get dinner. We'll all go get dinner and grab a snack and that kind of thing, and then come back for the
fab.
transformed party version. There you go.
Excellent.
See,
Excellent.
Well, I will probably stick around and make sure that everything is put in the right place.
Stu won't eat. Stu, I will go get Stu food, and then we'll sort it out from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's coming up this week in Game Dev London World. But yeah, I think that kind of brings to a good point to kind of say, it's been a fantastic another 50 episodes of the year of Game Dev London. We've had some amazing milestones. We've done some great things. We've put on a bunch of events. We've met amazing people. Amazing people have joined us kind of in what we're doing. It's been another humbling experience to be so supported by the game development community in general. And we're very glad that we've been able to give a lot back to that community and provide opportunities and ways to network and chat and host things like Global Game Jam and connect with other communities. So a huge thank you from the three of us for continuing to support everything we're doing at Game Dev London. And yeah, hopefully we kick off this next year, 50 episodes with GDLX. And get to see where that takes us. But before we say goodbye, do you have any last words? And if people wanted to find you, where could they find you?
Don't worry about finding me. Go find Game Dev London. Game Dev London. GameDev.London. Game Dev London. Game Dev London. Game Dev London. Did I say Game Dev London? Did I say Game Dev London?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you are interested in me, I'm easily found online. Just at Stuartville everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And Jade?
Yeah, no, I'm unfortunately at another bazillion events on the same day, but I will try and come back. Likewise, feel free to reach out to me over Twitter at JD Wasabi or wherever on socials. I have the same handle on all my socials. Yeah, feel free to DM me and ask me about Game Dev London. I can point you in the right direction. Please say that you're asking about Game Dev London because I do get a lot of random messages as well. But yeah, no, I'm so excited, and thank you again for just being part of the community, and for listeners out there just joining in on our journey. It's been a ride, and we are determined to continue this ride because we can only get better and bigger and upwards. And also, yeah, any feedback that you think that we can do better as well, do let us know, because a pillar of our core beliefs is that we want game dev to be accessible and also fun at the same time. So yeah, sorry, that was a really long
That's good.
No, that's good. That's good. And a good reminder. Yeah, if you do want to give us feedback, gamedev.london/feedback, you get access to feedback form. Any issues that gamedev.london and join the Discord. You can message any one of the three of us with feedback, or you can let us know at hello@gamedev.london as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get to see you at GDLX IRL. If not, then it'll be at the next event that we run. We have our game dev lunches every month. This week's will be a little bit oddly attended just because it's the day after
Yeah.
GDLX. So
Yes.
if that is your first one, you should still meet some fantastic members of our remote community. But next month might be the one where we're all back and certainly
Yes,
awake.
yeah.
We'll see. So other than that, feel free to go and join us. If you hadn't heard the web link, it is gamedev.london, and you can find us on all sort of social medias at GameDevLondon as well. But all that leaves me to say is kind of thank you for taking the time to listen to us and hearing us. Thank you for listening for the last 150 episodes. And yeah, we'll see you here.
For putting up with me and for doing everything.
And thank both of you for putting up with me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you.
And Jay's just wonderful, so that's fine. We'll just
Yeah,
great.
Jay
That's
does
okay.
that. Wonderful.
We don't put up with
everyone.
Jay. Jay puts up with us. Don't worry. Thanks a lot. We'll be back here same time next week with another episode of the Game Dev London podcast. And as Stu's catchphrase, we'll see you in the chats and see you at GDLX.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.